Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's Capsule Camp. I am your host, Destiny, with my co-host here, Xmat.
Xmat, hello, how are you guys?
This nice to be returning to old form, you know.
It is. Well, okay, no, it isn't. If you want to count me losing again, but otherwise, yeah,
No,
it is.
and as you guys can probably see, we have a new picture for our Capsule Cast.
Thank you, graphics team. We
Yep,
love this. Love it.
thank you. Love Turles in the middle, holding his fruit, you know.
Yeah, we love Zarban on the side as well. We just love a bit of the beauty boy himself. So,
Alright, so we have an exciting week for you guys. Not a lot happened. A lot happened.
yeah, for pre-season it was pretty hectic. So excited to get into it.
So with that, you ready to go? You ready to move? Ready to
Yes, let's get moving. Get into the
Alright.
groove.
Alrighty. Well, first up we have Muscle and Derp, and not really much to say about this match other than Ginyu though, proving that he was a valuable and good pickup for Derp.
What a guy for this match. He was incredible.
And
He almost got an elite.
almost,
Uh,
I think he was like 5,000.
it was crazy
And
how much he did.
while preseason leagues don't mean the world, it it still shows that the character does have the potential of going above that bar.
Oh, 100%, yeah. I mean, obviously we saw it with I think Metacooler a couple of seasons ago where he went elite. But I feel like this is on a different level because Metacooler went against like General Blue, who, he didn't really count much as a character, whereas Ginyu's doing this against some top like guys, Trunks, Bojack, even Grandpa Gohan's like been pretty good for the most part.
Grandpa Gohan is like a 40k character most of the time. But another notable thing about this match is Broly didn't really do that hot.
Broly,
First week in when back on Muscle, he didn't really do that hot.
he didn't do very good, but when he transformed, I think he got 30k in, but for Broly standards that's not great. He transformed and hit like a 10k Eraser Cannon, and I really thought maybe he'd start getting into the swing of things then, but like it was too late. He already lost a lot of health to the champ, who honestly he was back to top form this match because last match I think he fell off a little bit, but he was really on his game today. So but I think Herc and Ginyu very much carry this performance, particularly Ginyu obviously, but
It's just really nice to see that they're picked up a member and hey, he's doing well for them.
it's very good to see. I think Dirt will be like a lot higher of a performance this season than maybe they have done in the last couple of seasons. I think they could be onto something really big.
I know we
And
did.
Muscle. Oh, sorry, carry on.
Oh no, go ahead with your comment first.
I was gonna say Muscle, like it wasn't great from them, but I don't know if they were doing a bit of testing. And I mean, you just look at that lineup right there. That's one of their weakest lineups still because okay, you got Muscle Trunks and Broly, but you haven't got 13. Like if 13's in there or a King Cold's in there instead of maybe Grandpa Gohan, I think that's like even stronger for them still. So yeah, I think Muscle are really scary still. So not to be.
Yeah. I will say it seems it's been a little bit of a struggle for them, but because what I think is that they're using preseason as testing time for Grandpa Gohan, because obviously he's not going to be out in the main season unless someone is just
King Cold
failing
Dubs.
to work. Mostly King
Probably
Cold.
King Cold.
Well,
Yeah.
if Bojack starts derping really hard, he might go in for Bojack, but with 13 and with 13 Trunks and Broly on there, he's not going out for any of those three. Especially since they're also having to try their new Trunks transformation. Because if people somehow have not watched by now and saw it, Trunks can start in his big buff form.
Yes, he can. A very scary form, although I don't think we've seen the best of it so far this preseason. Because I think he was in last week and he didn't do very well. But yeah, no.
I mean, working out the kinks of their new transformation. Normally he has to transform to get up there.
Well, yeah, exactly. And you don't need to tell me about transformations and working them out. I can tell you it's a pain in the backside.
Oh, you don't need to tell me either.
Yeah, I know. It's one of them. But I'm sure they'll figure it out.
But I do have one question for you, since it's just us two this time. At least when it gets to main season, do you think either of these teams are gonna go far?
In terms of main season,
considering how the new playoffs work, if you've seen them.
Yes, the new playoffs where basically it kind of eliminates the whole idea of having like North Kai last year where there was 3-6 or well not 3-6, 3-9 wouldn't it be? Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, like really low scoring records, and they basically still get in because their Kai is obviously in a Kai structure. Yeah, Kai. Whereas now it's like, okay, if you do really badly, you are most likely going to drop out unless somehow you're in like a death Kai like that again, and you finish top of that Kai, and you're immune to that.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Bye week still counts. Like
bye week still counts.
You'll still make it if you get the bye week, but that's it.
So because of that, I think Muscle might struggle, just because we've seen previously that Muscle they're not as good in the main season as they are in playoffs. In playoffs, they're like a completely different animal. I guess because they can have, Broly, Trunks, and yeah, they can having all five, having Broly, Trunks, and 13 in the whole time. It's pretty scary. It's pretty scary in and of itself. So
there is only 3 weeks where they have to bench those 3 members. They only have to bench those 3 members for 5 weeks. And
yes, there are 6 weeks.
Well, I would say 6 weeks, since it seems like Trunks is trying to work out some kinks from him.
Yeah, so Trunks is a bit iffy, but I think because of that, I think Muscle might struggle. But Derp, on the other hand, I think it's done like a 180, because normally we see them as kind of a team that struggles a fair bit. Not, previously they have done anyway. But now they seem to have a lot of power. Like Herc is firing on all cylinders. You've got Ginyu is doing really well. I think Bobbity, from what I remember this match and definitely last match, is doing pretty well as well. I think they've kind of found like a solution to some of their problems, and they're doing really well. I think they'll make it to playoffs. Muscle, I don't know. It depends if they maybe if they can get King Cold or Grandpa Gohan, one of them firing pretty well, and keep Bojack consistent, they'll be fine. But it's just because of their past problems in main season, I can see them struggling.
To be fair, we have not seen 13 come out yet.
That is very, very true.
And we all know about Muscle loving to try some things on their character.
Well, we know Super 2 13 that came out last season, halfway through the season, and boy, did that destroy a lot of teams, including mine. So, yep, that was a very scary thing.
Oh, you mean Android 30?
Android 30.
Because that's it's Android 17's build on Android 13, get
it? Now I get it, yeah. I was like, 30?
But, I'll just say good luck to these two. I hope, well, I don't want Muscle to get the championship again. I would say that. I'm pretty sure a lot of people might
I
also
think you
say
can.
that. But
Yeah, I think
I
you can
do
say
want
that.
them to get far with this new team because I like the differences they have from the other times. Like, yeah, they have Grandpa Gohan. It's not really that strong enough in FA, but they have they have Muscle Trunks that are trying out. They have King Cold, and like, come on, he looking swag on that banner, dude.
He does look swag on that banner, I gotta say. Like, I want them to go far and do well, particularly if they can get King Cold to work really well. As I said last week, I think I'll be happy. But I agree. I hope they don't. Not like if they win, they win. But I think it'd be nice to have a new winner that isn't Muscle, maybe not Royals. Just have a new winner, which I think has been
Alright.
said before.
Well, with that, shall we get moving?
I think we shall.
We did spend a little bit of time on it, but hey, it was first match.
It is.
Alright, with GT and RW, actually, that's not RW, that's ED. I'm sorry, there's
That's ED.
so many Vegetas on this team, and it's
Team
only
Vegeta.
it's only 2?
It's crazy.
Also, I'm gonna be honest, the mid-Goku form change catches me off guard so much, because they don't usually do it. It's normally
Oh,
RW
yeah, it's
or
first.
Budokai that have the base form Gokus.
Yeah, no, I get it. They also have Yajirobe on the banner, so that kind of confuses me because I associate him with RW. So I get him.
A little thing, a little thing about this match is, my god, the tags. There were 6 tags. Actually, that's something just about this week in general, but we'll get there. Just the tags, and the tags. Like, come on, bro.
Crazy.
I couldn't even count who was dead for it.
It was insane. Like the amount of, I think it kept GT in the match 100%. Like Sin was the king of tagging. I think he tagged twice himself. Like he kept the momentum going for GT, and yeah, I think that along with Baby doing fairly well really pushed GT into winning this match because ED they only tagged twice, so they kind of it's almost like they had 2 bars left. Maybe not, because it might have been not exactly a bar, but almost to that level. And I don't think that ED lost by that high of a margin.
I think
to where
and also something that didn't help ED is that, well, I think he's no, he came in full health. Was mid Goku coming in as last, and he has KSA and Savior. Like, he's kind of the character you want to come in earlier, do his thing, maybe transform, but then tag, get his Savior back, get his Blastox back, and then come back in later, do the same thing again.
But no, he didn't get the opportunity to do that. I was just checking again. Yeah, so the finish was Ape Baby Vegeta versus Goku, and if there was a half a bar left on Baby, and there was a bar left on Jiro in the back, so it was very close.
We could just say it was Baby versus Goku, because while yes, Ape Baby happened, but most of it was done by Super Baby 2. Can't knock that for him, though.
No, you can't knock it. You definitely can't. But Ape Baby was the finisher with his Super Gallic gun, so
we did get to see an Ape Baby finish, and since GT was the player 1 team,
we got to see a winner.
We got to see the Ape Baby win screen. Now, if only it was Silver Ape, it would have been better. But that's just a little opinion. Good on you. Good on you, GT. Good on you.
It was I thought this match was very good. Like the fact that it was so close for pretty much the entire match, you couldn't really call it, because even when Goku came back in, if he altered, finished Baby off, They would have been in the lead by a bar against Giroux. So
well, Jero and Sin, I believe. I think Sin was still alive. There was another person that was alive there.
Was there?
Yeah, because there was a little scroll wheel at the end.
I think Sin. No.
There was
what? Did Sin live?
Someone alive.
Someone was alive. It was Roshi then.
Well, either way, mid Goku ults are dead. So.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So mid Goku ults, and then they're dead. Or maybe Sin did tag again. It was so low. Yeah, he tagged again. He tagged. So Sin tagged. I think Sin may have even tagged 3 times. So there you go.
Man, about to call this week the week of tags.
The week of tags, it was incredible. But, you know, it was still close. It was still within 2.5 bars. Goku has the potential to do that, especially if he altered and transformed. You know how scary.
I mean, you know, not even an ult, like literally a B2 would kill baby.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate. These things, they can happen, so... yeah. No bad, you know, look on ED. I think that they had a very decent match still. I just think that when you have that many tags going on, it does make it an uphill battle. So.
It is pretty hard to predict a team tagging, you know, more than twice.
Yes.
So it happened a lot this week.
It definitely did. Right. We done talking about this match, or you got anything else to add? Or?
Not really. I guess I could just ask the same question I asked you on Muscles. Where do you think these two are going to end up? Because I know GT normally, when it comes to main season, struggles.
Terrible first half. Great second half.
Great finish, but I don't know if he'll. I don't know with the new stuff that it will make it go far. You know.
Yeah, I want GT to do well, but I think they might struggle just because. Right. So at the moment they've got Baby, Sin, and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta as their like what I would call 3 sort of go-to characters. Biggest hitters, yeah. And then they've got Jiro.
GT Goku's out for the season.
Exactly. So then they've got the backup is like Jiro, Roshi, and Pan. Pan they don't like and don't want to use, and I understand that and get the reasons why.
Oh no, I think here's how we put it. And you know, I'm sorry for all the Pan lovers out there, but it's kind of how it is in League. There is a heavy hitter GT, which are the big 3, AB, Super Saiyan 4, Sin. Then there's the backup, Jiro and Roshi, and then there's Pan.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but Pan isn't really on their priority list at the moment, and I get it. I do get it because he's not.
They just have 3 seasons of frustration with her. Let's just say that.
Yes. So because of that, they haven't got GT Goku to fall back on. Who, while I know he's had derpy moments for them, I just think that his potential bursts, like that he could do, his kit's good, right? So that they've got that going for them, whereas now they haven't. They've got Jiro, who I like. In fact, I don't like. I love personally, but he hasn't done it on this difficulty. Did it on TOP, but I don't think it necessarily will translate, but hopefully it does. And then you've got Roshi, who I think is good, but obviously I still think he's a bit... I don't know. He's had good seasons in the past, but I still think, for me, with like him and Grandpa Gohan, I still look at them and I think... I don't know if you can consistently rely on them to be high damage dealers. So... that's just a personal opinion. Same with Nam, but we'll see.
I mean, Nam did go elite last season versus
He did go elite last season. That is very true. So I mean, probably to a lesser extent Nam, but I don't know. Roshi and Grandpa go on. I don't. I don't know. Their kits aren't the best. They're decent, but not the best. So But I still think they'll make playoffs. I don't think they'll have a fantastic season. And then ED, I think could easily make playoffs and win the whole thing. Like I think they could win this season if that makes sense. I just think their team is so good.
I mean,
In terms,
you have the nice core of Krillin, Goku, and Vegeta. I'll let you decide which Vegeta I'm talking about. And you know they have Nam or they have Yajirobe, and they're both decent characters, but they both do around the same damage. Unless you're deciding to be for a week, be an elite character. Looking at you, Nam.
exactly. And Yajirobe has, I think, potential that hasn't been like unlocked. I think he has some good potential.
He is the only character on ED that has Power Body in Max Power mode.
And he has a fairly reliable way of actually reaching it with
And
max
he
power.
has the fastest B1 charge rate in the game.
So there's potential utility there.
There's always a niche.
Exactly.
Yajirobe
So
has that as his.
I think that ED are very strong, and I would put them up there as contenders because you imagine in playoffs you've got two Vegetas, Goku, Krillin, and then one of Nam or Yajirobe rounding out the team. I just think that's very just strong, to be honest. So I don't know. I think they could do really well. But yeah.
Alright, but with that, shall we get moving on?
I think we shall. Let's skip the next one, and then we'll go to the next one.
Nope, because we don't need to do this for our guests. You are taking the pain.
Oh, pain.
And here we have of Cold the Boojins. I know this is Xmat's favorite match, so I'll be honest.
Yeah. No. I,
Now we have the start. We have 100% Frieza versus Suhan, and you know I wanted to ask you personally, why?
okay, so there's right. I wasn't sure they would start Buhan. I thought maybe it would be like Evil Boo or someone. I didn't know if Buhan was going to be in this week, to be honest.
It is preseason.
So
You can't
it is
always predict
preseason.
that.
You can't, no, but I also wanted to test this AI on 100% Freezer, so I was like, okay, we'll put him first. He's probably the best star that I have for the most part, because I like Zarmon coming in later. He seems to do better. So yeah, that was the reasoning behind that. It didn't go great, but I wouldn't actually blame most of this on 100% Freezer. There's another culprit that was actually much worse.
Was it cool?
No, it was Zarbon. Which is unfortunate because I've standing Zarbon right now. I'm standing him.
Hey,
but he
might not have been fully Zarbon, because you were on Kami's lookout.
yes, that didn't help. It didn't help, but
It wasn't fully Zarbon, but it was mostly Zarbon.
yeah, the problem is it was really unfortunate because if things had gone, I think, a little bit the other way around, so Zarbon went against Evil Boo. Now, Zarbon doesn't have a lot of burst. He isn't really, Evil Boo's on like defense and demonic bargain, so Zarbon's a very slow character with his damage. So I think that was like one of the worst matchups that I could have had. And then Jace went up against Kid Boo, and that's the worst matchup I could have had because Jace wants to charge and Kid Boo does not want to let him charge.
I honestly think any matchup against Kid Boo would have probably been bad.
Yes,
100%
but I think
Frieza
Zarbon.
100% Frieza doesn't have his niche of power body. Hell, I mean, he didn't have it versus Buhan anyway, but and Cooler, Jace want to charge, and Zarbon can't really always handle the fast melee characters.
I think Zarbon would have been the best.
Zarbon would have been the
Only
best, but I don't think they all have a winning matchup.
yes, I agree. But then I don't think there's anyone on my team that's not even in this week that would have had a good matchup. Like, I don't think Tao
That's
would have
true.
done very well. I don't think Mecha would have done. I think the best out of my entire team, out of the whole 6, would have been Zarban, and that's only because he spams Wild Sense and like he can dodge a few things and get a few combos in. So I think that would have been the best time I would have had. That or like Cooler like comes in just ults Kid Buu. That's probably the easiest thing that could have happened. But regardless, that's beside the point.
Beside the point.
Buu Saga did very, very well. Like Kid Buu especially.
I mean,
just tore me up. Kid Buu. Jace literally had no time to do anything. Got absolutely destroyed.
We'll say this is a interesting Evil Buu build because, he does lose a health bar, but he also gets Eternal Life, and he basically charges like an android, and it's a Buu character.
And he has Flame Shower Breath for 2 bars.
That even on a defense build, or even on a super minus build, still does damage.
God, yeah.
It's still a decent chunk, and it's 2 bars.
Oh, 100%. It's a very strong thingy attack.
I'm just more weirded out by the 100% Frieza start, but hey, it was your team. Preseason, you can't predict much. It's just when you're going against Bujins most of the time when Spopovich is not their starter, because hell, Spopovich is not going to be in the season. You know who they have.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the way I look at it is if I put, now you tell me, if I put 100% Frieza at the start and he goes against Buhan, he probably loses. But if I put him in the back half and he goes up against Kid Buu, he definitely loses. It's even worse. So, because I've not seen them start Kid Buu in testing, I thought I'd rather potentially go against Buhan than go against Kid Buu. Because if 100% Frieza goes against Kid Buu, I think he's just dead. Like, immediately.
Yeah, true. And they're both pretty fast on their melee.
They are both fast. I just find Kid Buu is even more annoying.
Kid Buu is obviously.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it was a good match. Obviously, we lost by pretty much, in fact, a whole character, because Kid Buu took a bar and then there was a bar left.
They also tagged 3 times, and 2 tags were like 1 health, which was a more devastating thing.
Yes, that was really horrific, because it was like I had PTSD from last week where we lost to ED because of the exact same thing. So I was unhappy with my team. I was, let's just say that there's a few torture chambers that have been going up for them. For not torture chambers. They're not, hitting rush blasts or just hitting 1 punch on the last person. It's unfortunate for them, really, but
what's this about torture chambers? We're allowed to torture our members if they do bad now. When did this happen?
That's the Cold Kingdom. You've got to enforce your rules somehow. And if they're not hitting the guy on 1 HP, they're getting punished. It's unfortunate, really. But yeah.
Now, I'm gonna ask you the same question again. Sorry if we're taking a little bit longer on this match, because it's one of our own matches. Obviously, the one we remember the most. But I will say my opinion is I think Buu Saga, while they don't have Spopovich in, and yes, they have an FA, I think they can go pretty far. So I think that while I still don't know about Majin Buu, that's still an unknown, I think they have their main core of Evil Buu, Buhan, and Kid Buu down, especially Kid Buu. That attack +2 melee build, everyone thought he was a spammer. Everyone thought he was just going to spam and spam and spam and spam. Nah, he coming in swinging with that mad fucking howl of his. Just that mad cackle.
That mad cackle. And them swinging arms as well. Swings them faster than anything. Jesus.
But, I think they're gonna go far. What about you? What do you... And I think... And I know that you're here and everything. I think you're gonna go pretty far as well.
Oh, that's sweet. I thought you was gonna like wreck my soul there and go, I know you're here, but I think that Cold are gonna get knocked out and they're gonna. And I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. I'm about to get
No,
absolutely bantered here.
no, subvert expectations. You
Subvert.
expect me to.
Thank you.
You expect
I
me
did.
to rail on you.
I did. Thank you. I mean, start with Boo Saga. I really actually think that. I think for me, the two scariest teams at the moment are them and ED. And again, I think it's the same thing with what you said. Kid Boo is frightening as all hell. He is a very scary character this season, and I'm glad that they found something for him because I know that he's been very frustrating in previous seasons. So I'm glad that they've fixed him.
He's not relying on this planet burst.
He's not relying on. Oh, hopefully I can get a couple of ults in, and then that'll be me done. And then you've got Buhan, who has consistently been very good for what was Boo Jin's, now Boo Saga. Like every season, I think he's been like 40 to 50k, usually like 45. So very strong character. Then you've got Evil Boo, who they've seemed to have touched up, and is just being a consistent nightmare. And then you've got Vegito and Fat Boo, and I know that they're maybe not. They're kind of on the lower end by the looks of it, as opposed to the other three, but I still think they're very strong characters. I mean, Fat Boo has high spam potential. His ult is very strong, so I think that's good for them. The Vegito is just a good character. He's got good stats, so I just think across the board their team is very scary. So in a 5-man situation as well, I think they could easily get to semi-finals plus, easily. As for my team, obviously I'm going to be biased, but I think we'll make playoffs. I don't know about like further than that because obviously we're still figuring a few bits out, but I think we'll make playoffs.
It's not Omega bias. You're not saying, oh, we're just going to win the entire thing. You at least realize your faults.
Oh god, yeah, and I realise my faults. One of them being Zarbon in this match. Jesus.
I do want to ask one question before we move on to the next match because this is getting kind of long. I can understand the base form Zarbon and the 100% Frieza because I've seen them a lot. Why base form Cooler?
Base form Cooler was basically because we chose 100% Frieza. He was the attack 2 guy. And that meant that Cooler would have to be a spammer, which, okay, we've seen that kind of worked-ish. Like last season when we put him on Super 2. But we felt that Cooler, like base Cooler, was more consistent when we looked back at 2020 and we saw how well he did on his Key 2 build. So it was kind of a, like, okay, we'll put... So we can have a bit of fun and put 100% Frieza on attack 2. We'll move Cooler over to Key 2 and put him back down to base. But we still don't know whether we're going to put the ring or not on him. But I think myself, this is my own thing, I'm leaning towards no ring because I want him to be able to transform. Because I think it's fun when he can go up and he gets health back and he can use Death Chaser and deal damage.
I will say, as a man who's been using a character who has a 5k health transformation, if the transform does more than the health it's worth,
it's worth it.
That's good. But I will say, just not a word of advice, but I want to see you try this eventually. I know you have more defense on Zarbon, but if I honestly want to see you keep going with this attack 2 100% and attack mecha, I want to see some defense on Cooler. If he can transform, if not, I think in his transform state he has good enough stats, and in his base form, the defense just helps.
Oh god, honestly, like I would love to do that. If one day I can move things around, maybe put Zarbon on defense 3. Defense 2 cooler is definitely a possibility, and
I mean,
especially base. Because I want cooler to have the attack stats if possible.
yeah,
I want to give defense 3.
I mean, hey, I know this isn't really the best case scenario, but because one of my characters has high stats, but we put Jane on defense 3, you put Zarbon on it, and probably could do just as well.
Yeah, I think Zarbon, I've seen him do decent on defense 3. I think it's possible, so we'll probably test that next off season. So it's definitely something to look into. But yeah.
Yeah, just a little thing to look into. But anyway, do you wanna keep going?
Yeah, let's move on. Let's see who's winning next match.
We have our next match, Kaiju versus RW. With little notes about this match, we had Kid Ku versus Ader as the match.
That's not realistic. That would never happen. Ader would never hurt Goku.
And Goku would never hurt Ader.
Exactly.
Even though how many times that the planet has blown up because of him.
We don't talk about that. We don't talk about it.
It's not this Goku. It's not this Goku.
Exactly.
Alright. See, we got 2 tags this match. A lot less than the previous one.
Far less. Like that's a relaxed match of tagging in comparison to some of the others.
It's just. But hey, we did get an oob. We did get an oob to finish, but sadly, I don't think we got to see oob versus Majub.
We did not, which is rather upsetting. But what I do remember we did get to see is we got 2 Kappas from Nappa. Kappa Nappa returned. So you know, it was pretty. He almost did 3. He got to max power, but he did like, I think he did 50k, and 40k of that was
Kappas.
Ults. So that was very interesting to see. But yeah, I think that this match was pretty fun.
There was a lot more team match, even though there were 3 Kappas.
Oh god, yeah. It wasn't as hectic as the other matches where there was like 15 tags going back and forth, but
that doesn't mean it's still not fun to watch, you know.
Exactly.
You know, it's not every day you get to see 3 Kappas. It's not every day you get to see Kid Ku versus Ader and potentially a Maju versus Oob.
And it's not every day you get to see a dirty fireworks as well, which was nice to see. I can't remember the last time we've seen that in the league, to be fair, but I think it's been a while.
I know we might have saw a lot of the boss rush last year.
That was probably. But in the main league, real Scout Vegeta, we haven't seen him do it very often. So, yeah, it was. I like this match. Like I said, I think that they had Scouter doing fairly decent as well for Kaiju. I think the main guy on Kaiju that did well was actually, unsurprisingly, Nappa doing 50k just from 2 ults and one B2. Everyone else, it was kind of like everyone was doing their bit, so to speak. So 40k pretty much for everyone. I don't think anyone did exceedingly, massive amounts of damage. But I remember that TN also brought it back for RW quite a bit, so that's good for them. It looks like they might have found something for him. Because I don't think he did well last week, but I don't know if they've changed the build. But he's I think it was a good match overall. Like I say, shame we didn't get to see Oob versus Marjube. That would have been good, but sucks.
But it's still a fun match to watch. And again, with this question, I think honestly, with the Kid Q pickup, I I think if they can get Scouter and Bardock consistently working, because I know they were kind of consistency problems with them last season, and just make sure Nappa and Slug hold up the ground, you know? I think they can actually go maybe semis, maybe even finals. Because Kaiju definitely has the possibility. It's just there. I mean, there is the factors of DA users or innate DA users, but if you just have them good enough in their base form, where they don't always have to rely on their giant big form, then
Well, they don't really have to rely on big forms this season, do they? I suppose they've got some. I mean, I look at Kaiju, and I do agree for the most part. I think that they could go very far. I don't know about finals because I just look at ED and Busaga, and I think they're stronger.
Look at a lot of other teams.
Not a lot. I wouldn't say a lot of them. I think ED and Busaga are above them, but I don't know about like major amount of teams are above them. So I think semis possibly, but finals I don't know. I think they've got Nappa obviously from last season. If they can keep him doing that, from what he was like, I think he was he top last season? He was very close.
He was either he was number 1, but I know he was certainly in top 5.
He was at least top 5, and he was like a monster last season, especially for tagging coming back in Kappa, He was just scary. So if they can keep that up, and I think, like you said, if they can fix Scouter and Bardock has looked really scary in testing. So if they keep that up, Kid Goku is a very solid pickup, and Oob, assuming that they can figure him out, is a very strong character to have. So I think they could go very far.
And RW.
I was gonna say RW, yeah.
Well, yes, they have lost and Vegeta and Yaj. I don't think that diminishes their power that much, because they got 18 back, and they have Tien Yamcha, who actually really recently have been looking like quite the scary characters, and of course they have the man Tapion as their FA.
Back again.
All a friend.
This is where they go 14-1 or whatever. What was it? 13-2?
It was yeah, it was like 13-2 because the 2 weeks they didn't have Tapion and they lost.
This is where they do it again. The Tapion gift. I agree, but like, I also don't know if they'll make it too far because I don't know the balance of the team. They might figure it out, but I'm just looking at the characters historically, right? So historically, Marjube is sort of like a defense spammer. Historically, Aether is also sort of a spammer. So is Tien. So is Tapion. Okay. So is Yamcha. So is 18. And so Yamcha. So I'm like, I hope it works. I hope that they figure things out and put people on builds that work. I feel like Aether could probably move, and they could probably move people around on different builds. But I just look at them historically. I'm like, oh my god, this is just spammer central. But I'm sure they'll figure it out. But we'll see. I think the strength of the characters might push them into playoffs. But if they can't figure out builds to where they can get them off spam, then it could be difficult. But yeah.
I think that is a good point to go and move on,
I agree.
Alright, next we have the Roids versus Quad. And, wow, this was a match. This is one of the... I think this was one of the most even matches towards the end that I've ever seen.
It was very close, yeah.
Because albeit while you had, and this was one of only 2 matches this week where there were no tags. We had we had our boy 2020 version of Cell coming back at it again. He's like, who the hell is this roided up, gray head, Pride Trooper looking
Son of a gun.
son of a gun? Because I'm not going to say the other thing.
No.
Who is he and why has he been trying to take my top spot?
Why
And
is he stealing my thunder?
and he and he did it. Beat him.
He did. So was like,
While also having to deal with say a man, not say a woman, not say a man, not say a woman, but say a man. He was
pretty
like
strong.
he was like a top 10 character last season, consistently.
He was, yes, he was very scary.
That's not
The
something.
fact that
That's not something you see every day.
the fact that Cell was basically like, yeah, Jiren, no, haha, I'm better than you, and then went on to just beat Saiyaman down. It was like, oh god, the old Cell has returned. He's back. No.
But moving to the later half of this match, we had Kui versus Seiya Woman, and my god, was it a slugfest and a half.
It was. It
And
felt like
it got to end in your favorite way.
exactly.
Lord.
Frieza is the MVP, bro.
Lord Frieza.
Frieza is the MVP because Sailman fears Frieza, and that is the only reason that androids won.
For some reason,
I don't know why she fears Frieza. No one knows, but
doesn't even know Frieza.
she doesn't even know who he is, but she does. She fears him.
And
Apparently.
I mean, if the distraction worked, the distraction worked, because that was like 10k damage into her health bar and into the bottom of the seed. Their map doesn't really have a ground.
No, it doesn't. Instead, you end up being like the Titanic and sinking at the bottom of the ocean, unfortunately. But I will say that slugfest, I do think, was partly because of the map, because they both wanted to charge, and there was times where they were underwater, and it was no.
And there were times where they had charge negatives too.
Yep, and underwater, double the pain. So yeah, no, it was a slugfest at the end, but at the same time, it was still entertaining because as slow as it was just so even. I mean, it finished like 5k. Kui was on like 5k. He would have been dead for what? One combo.
They were both at 5k HP. It's just Videl missed the grab. Kui capitalized on it and ulted.
Exactly.
But
it was very.
Not really just considering how this match went, but moving on to what I think will happen during the season. Obviously, we still have 2 weeks of playoffs left, but I'm just doing this here because we can. We don't have we don't have that big of a schedule here. We don't have a schedule of how things do. We just go in with the notes we have or with the knowledge we have of the previous weeks.
Testing as well if you've done anything as well. So,
but
yeah.
I think I'm actually more scared for androids than of androids this season.
Oh really?
Because albeit yes, Cell 17-6 Cell's back to his perfect ways. And 17 and 16 are always 17's always a consistent character. 16's here or there sometimes, because it does seem like the melee build for 16 has been getting a little bit, yes, scary. It's been getting a little bit of outdated. People are starting to realize the counters or have just better team comps overall. What I'm more scared of is the Tao Kui situation, and where the hell is my boy Super 17, bro. I want to see this man on the field, dude. And not just on the field dying, I want to see him swinging.
Out here swinging. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bit peculiar because haven't they've used the same lineup 2 weeks in a row, haven't they?
I mean, they're not
This
the
is
only
the lineup.
they're not the only lineup to really. They're not really the only lineup to use. Mostly the same.
Yeah, but I think this is the exact same. I thought they might bring Cyborg Talon, but I don't think that.
Actually,
It
wait.
looks.
I thought that Bertal was in last week. Never mind.
I don't think.
He might have. I don't know. Actually, no. I don't think it was. What is it? It's just, I think they're gonna struggle because if they don't get either Kui or Tao working on a consistent basis, they're always just gonna be down a character. And while yes, they have the ability to, burst their way through that cough cell, cough 17, is still a character down.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. It you can't always rely on that because there's only so much burst you can do, and get away with it. There's only so many times you can get away with it because you go up against, so like last week they were against Boo Saga, and then you've got like Kid Boo who can also just burst you, so he might burst you quicker than you burst him. So it's not really like there's only so much you can do when it comes to just bursting someone down. So and not being able to rely on a character to pull their weight. So we'll see. I think Kui did okay in this, like decent in this match and last match. So if they can just keep him consistently doing, 35k at least, that would probably do them. But if he gets to a point where it's like 25, 30k, I agree. I think that it's like a position where you can't keep relying on Cell to do 60k every week. So yeah, I get where you're coming from. I think they'll be fine. I do think that androids will get through to playoffs, but I could also see them slipping out. I just think they'll be fine because they've got that much power. Sentai, I am personally very excited for because obviously they've got the two new characters with Jiren and 21. Obviously Jiren got added last season, but 21 this season. And they've just got a strong base. I mean, Berta is ridiculously good. Jiren, obviously, we've seen him testing, and I can't remember what he did last week, but he's been a menace.
Have you heard this thing called Jirno?
Jirno, exactly. That is what he's been known for in testing, I just think that having that potential.
Or Balby two loops?
Exactly. He is ridiculous. So having Berta, him, Sailman, who was a top 10 last season, and then 21, who's a bit of an unknown, but still a good character. Backed up with Raccoon, who they got working, and Sail. I just think that they're strong in general.
Yeah, it does feel nice that for the first time since the new league started, Raccoon fucking works.
He worked for 6 weeks for us and then broke horribly, but he's still over a 40k average.
Hey, as long as he has that 40k, get chilling.
I think that it is good that they've got him working, and I hope that it works out for them. So. But definitely a strong team. Sentai. I see them comfortably making playoffs. So.
Alright, with that, shall we get moving?
I think we shall.
Alright, moving on to not my favorite match, but hey, it's my match.
Yeah, I think you love this match just about as much as I love the Boo Saga match. So, yeah.
To be fair, you at least had tags in yours.
Yeah, at least I guess my saving grace is we tagged. A few of my characters did some stuff. I'm sure some of your characters did some stuff.
Oh no, yeah, some of my characters did some stuff, but can we just say God, I hate Pycon's ult. Not because I actually hate it, but my God, is it just? It's like a fucking shotgun, bro.
It does
And
damage.
he was the starter, might I add. And we didn't even see Nail this week. Didn't even. He was a starter, and he's all spamming like he's fucking Frieza out here.
It's like he had KSA max power, like bang, bang, bang.
With a
It was
max
crazy.
power mode fucking B2 or B1. He has a
It was.
he had a decent charge. He did one ult, took most of Janemba's health because he had demonic bargain, and then he ulted again to finish off Janemba for like no HP. And guess what? Can you
He
guess
ulted
what he ulted?
again.
Yeah. Can you guess what happened again? He ulted Fasha for like half her HP. He was on his
Man
way
was
to elite if Garlic didn't stop him. And I just want to point this out. He would have got an elite if it wasn't for the demonic bargain on Jane.
He would have done, yeah.
Because we don't count that 10k health as actual damage, buddy.
And he would have done his second ult that he did on Jane was when he was on like 5k. So if he'd done that with like 15k left,
or if
he
he
would.
just did it on Vasha and then ulted her again, or maybe saved the third ult for Garlic, which actually would have been even more devastating. I'm gonna be honest, if Pycon ult 3 of my characters and I'm still alive by the time the 4th character.
That would have been ridiculous. It was incredible performance from Pycon.
But so yeah, he's one of our other near elites of the week. But you know, I can't really knock Jane, can't really knock Fasha. It's like it's hard to predict a ult spammer coming out on an attack 2 build and destroying your life.
Yeah, there really isn't much you can do there. I mean, we know we've seen not only in this, like in testing, but in previous seasons, how good like Fasha, for example, can be, and even she just got completely shut down. I don't think you can really do much in that scenario. It was unfortunate.
It also helps that also helps Pycon that he has the tornado like B2.
Oh, a very strong B2, yeah. Being able to just basically clip through anything.
You know who also has it on their team?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
I don't know. It's a certain winged person over there. He's looking kind of gold. But
oh, okay. I thought you was referring to someone else then. Okay.
No. Both over.
I was gonna say, I thought you was giving me an insult then. Insulting me.
Yours is not a tornado. Yours is you charge in like a monkey.
That is true. But it's the same thing. It is. Yes, definitely.
Also, one's a ball, the others are tornadoes.
That is true. But they work.
That's enough of the salt. That's enough of the complaining because we have some good things about this match. You know, Garlic trying to hold down the fort as best he can. He did stop Pycon in his tracks.
Yeah,
and
he did.
Sadly died to King Piccolo, but you know my boy, my man, the man with the plan, the man with the long ass hair, Raditz. He came in, may not have gotten through to or more characters. He may not have pulled the reverse elite, but you know, he tried. He tried his best, and he tried. And, you know, he did take out a character. We did get to see at least 3 characters today from Namek. We got to see Raditz just utterly demolish King Piccolo, and I mean demolish. Like he had 3 bars left when he killed King Piccolo. It was a massacre. And he didn't even ult. He didn't even go ape. He was like, I don't need ape for this. My hands are enough. My fist, because to be honest, he only really beat you twice.
Yeah.
Or some. He only beat you like 3 times.
Which is a lot.
I mean, he is on a super build. he's not on a melee build, so that's kind of we want him to be too. But you know, hey, it worked. But he coming in, he has the hands. Yeah, he didn't win the match, but he went down fighting with a smile on his face. Until Nova came in and literally blasted him off the face of the earth. Sorry, I had to get one more salty comment in there.
Over.
But no, in all honesty, no matter how much salt I may be, no one can predict the starter doing 3 ults. But GG Namek didn't even need late Piccolo. Or Nail. They didn't need Nail.
Nail was not required.
But how about you start the question this time?
Okay. Well, I'll ask the obvious. Well, I'll ask the pertinent question, I guess. Do you see Raditz actually being used in the main season, or is this kind of like a we'll test them out for now and then see how we go?
You know, I've not thought of that.
Okay, so it's not really in your rationale at the moment. It's kind of like a.
He's in the characters we will use, probably.
Oh really? Okay, that's interesting.
Kind of really need a B2er, and Garlic's
not
always there to fill.
Okay.
Do
you know who? Oh, okay. Carry on. Sorry.
You could talk for a bit. I need to handle something real quick.
Okay, that's fine. Right. Well, I will talk about what actually I think of the teams, I guess. So, Cinema, I think, will probably make it fairly far this season. I don't know about semi-finals and that because I still, again, I think team-wise, looking at Busai and ED being very top teams, maybe they make it that far. But I don't know, those two teams, top teams, maybe a team like, if Muscle do make it into playoffs, their 5-man is very strong, so they could easily get to semi-finals again. So, yeah, there are a few teams that I think are above on that level. But in terms of the whole team, I think very, very strong overall. So I would be very surprised if they didn't make playoffs. Namek, now, they've had some struggles in previous seasons, and if I was going off what I remember last week, I don't think they did all too great, but looking at their team, who they have, if they can keep Pycon working this consistently, they've got late Piccolo is a menace most of the time. Nuova is a very, very big threat, especially if they can get up to his peak levels, and then to round it out with Nail, King Piccolo and Tambourine, I think that's a solid lineup. So I do think that Namek will make playoffs. Just because I think the team is overall fairly strong. And oh hello.
I am sorry I left you alone.
That's fine. I just went round through what I thought where the teams would go. I just said that I think that both teams will be making playoffs. So, because I just think both teams are very strong. So,
I think it's like both teams don't really have a super weak character, so it's hard to tell who's going to be in.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah. I mean, I think for me, the weakest possibly on Namek is King Piccolo because he just seems so inconsistent.
Honestly, I'd probably say the weakest is Tam because they don't really have the Pataras for Tambourine.
See, that could be an issue.
At least yes. King Piccolo has spam Pataras that he uses. Tambourine kind of uses either attack or defense, and you know who's probably going to be on either Pycon, late Piccolo.
Pycon and late Piccolo. Yeah. Yeah, that's the only issue. But I mean, even then, just the 4 characters they have now, like this lineup is very strong. So I mean, I don't know. I think they're a very scary team. So we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, obviously a little biased here, but I think my team will at least get into playoffs this year.
That's what we like to see. Positivity.
Yeah, it'll be nice to get in the playoffs after being knocked out twice.
Last season was a non-anomaly. That's what I'm gonna say.
Well, we're also in Death Guy. Ah, hello.
Hello, we've got a visitor to the cast.
Rugrats reign supreme. Rugrats are the best.
We haven't
yeah.
even gotten your match yet.
I know. I'm on break. I just wanted to come in and just crap everything. All right. Enjoy the rest of this cast. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, visitor. There you go.
Yeah, OBS literally cuts the sound to my Discord, so I can only hear people in voice chat. I don't see people entering. But I think we can move on. I have nothing else to say other than GG gaming.
GG's indeed. Now we can move on to the.
Now we move on to the Rugrats match. So, some things that happened in this match. We had 6 tags. 4 on Royals, 2 on Rugrats, and yeah, you wanna know what's funny? The people that tagged more lost.
I think this is the first time of the whole week that the team that tagged more lost. I could be wrong, but I think it is.
I think so. I mean,
so,
it also really helps when you're literally going against a character that's literally like 2 tagged characters themselves.
Yes.
Not cough,
I mean,
no bullshit. Totally.
Gotenks was ridiculous this match. He was pretty good, but I mean, this match overall was just fun. Obviously the tagging made it hectic.
I'm pretty sure it was, funnily enough, a closer match than people thought.
It was.
It was Majin Vegeta versus Aurelie, and I know Aurelie had full health, but you know how much damage Majin Vegeta does.
I think Aurelie actually was, from what I remember, she was in death range of. I think she was on about 20k because I'm sure that Majin Vegeta came back in. He came back in with Savior, and
to be fair,
like he could have killed her.
It is very hard for me to see the health bars. I'm colorblind.
Yeah. Yes. What happened is, so Metacooler came back in and did a lot of damage, and then it was Aurelie versus Majin Vegeta. But Majin Vegeta had his ult primed and ready to go. If he ulted, she was dead. But she
honestly, it probably
threw a rock.
Honestly, it probably would be better to just do a B2 because save the health. Because I know he at least had a bar.
Oh yeah, but if he ulted, she was categorically dead. But the issue is, he did try to throw a big bang attack, but Aurelie was like, no, rock go burr, and unfortunately,
Wouldn't the big
rock
bang
does go
beat
burr.
that?
No, but she fired it first. So she fired it before he fired his big bang attack, which meant that she
hit before. Okay.
Yes, while he was in his animation.
And we all know that thing does 10k health just baseline. Because it's real.
Yep. So it was a very fun match.
We got to see Gotenks.
We got to see Gotenks. He did fairly well, although King Vegeta held him off for most of the match. And to be honest, that was ridiculously impressive from what King Vegeta was doing. He stalled a lot of Gotenks' damage. When King Vegeta went out, Gotenks was able to do a lot more, but it was almost like he was their kryptonite. He stopped them from doing stuff. So that was impressive from the King Vegeta man himself. But
Also,
Yeah.
Also, if you didn't see last week, well, you also saw the one earlier, but we have all the banners now. My God,
Hey.
I know Rose's banner's not as flashy as last year, but I like it. I like the simplicity.
I like the simplicity. I like King Vegeta not happy. I like that Metacooler is skulking around like in the background. Like, I don't know. It's good.
What do you mean? It's King Vegeta and his guard, bro.
It's his guard, bro. You know he's not his guard. He would kill him in 2 seconds if he like. Normally, he would not be defending King Vegeta. No, it's good. It's good. I do like the banner. I also like Rugrats banner as well. With the Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta and Gotenks on the side.
That's not Super Saiyan 4 though.
No, Super Saiyan 4 Goku and yeah. You know what I meant. You know what I meant.
But yeah, this was really a good match. Don't really have that much to say on it. But you know, sometimes the best matches don't have most words, you know.
You have to watch them to get the full entertainment value.
Whether,
so go watch it.
Whether it be in the stream or in the episode or after stream, you know, just watching it and get your own experience.
Exactly.
All right, you ready to move? Actually, we didn't even ask the important question that we've been asking every single time. When do you think these two will end up, probably?
Right, so let's start with Royals. Royals is in that bracket again for me, with ED and Busaga, because I look at their team and it just screams strong. Like, you've got Margin Vegeta on this attack 2 sort of KSA, you know, spam to get max power build, to get that power body, and it's disgusting. Okay, against the Rayleigh he struggled a little bit, but it's a Rayleigh, right? Like, everyone's gonna potentially struggle against the demon child herself, but in general he can just destroy entire teams. Then you've got Deborah. If they can get him working like they did last week consistently, he is one of the scariest characters in the league, in my opinion, with that evil impulse and flame shower. Well, not flame shower breath, but you know, the flame breath, evil flame. That's the one. That is a strong B2 combination, mixed in with After Image Strike, which is probably one of the best B1s in the league. That's just really scary. And then you've got King Vegeta, who just is consistently a menace. I think he was 45k last season at least, maybe more.
On Royals from you.
On Royals, yeah. And then Metacooler again, another consistent 45k character. Like, I don't know, their team is just really, really strong. So I would put them in the semi-final, potentially final bracket again.
Right. But there's only one problem you did not address.
What's this?
Are we getting main season or are we getting preseason for it?
I think it can't happen again. It can't, surely. He can't.
Every year they say this, and every year it happens.
It can't. I think he will do this in main season. Maybe not to the absurdity levels of last week where it was elite every season.
Alright, if main season Deborah happens again, blame Xmat. You jinxed it.
Hopefully I do, because they're my Kai, so...
I mean, I don't matter that much anymore. Except bye week.
Except bye week. So if I want the bye week, I want Deborah to not do well.
But that's only one match.
That is true. But I also need them to lose other matches. So I'll need Deborah to...
In my opinion, if main season Deborah does not come out, they're a top 3 team. Because they won't have Pilaf. If he does, they're like the top 10 team. Because they have Pilaf.
Bro, if Pilaf comes out, I think they could bring Pilaf out, and that they would still do well.
No, I'm not saying he won't. I'm just saying it's Pilaf over Deborah. Which statistically would you want?
You want a top. You want top of his game, Deborah.
Because we already know Baby Vegeta ain't moving.
Probably not.
Because
he's very strong.
Funny enough, he's been doing really well, even though he can't transform.
It is crazy that he's still a just very scary character without the transformation. Anyway.
And now for Rugrats, because I'm going to say it first because you haven't said yours yet for Rugrats. But I fucking hate that Demon Child, but I think they're a top 10 team, and we'll probably at least make it to semifinals. I don't know about finals this season, but they have certainly shown that they can go to finals. Twice.
Oh yeah. I agree that they'll get playoffs. Semi-finals, maybe. It depends. I think they're a very strong team, but maybe quarterfinals could be where it's at because I don't know. There are just so many strong teams, like with Royals, ED, Boo Saga, just the three that I can think of that I think are really, really strong. But they could make semi-finals, definitely. Their lineup is really strong. I think Aurelie, obviously, everyone's scared of Aurelie. Pretty obvious by now that she's the Demon Child, and she will destroy so many teams. But you've got Goten, who's on the same build as last season, who was really scary, top 5 character as well, and Kid Trunks is returning to his sort of 2020-21 build, so yeah. He was menace on that build, so yeah.
Be a little quicker. Starting a little long.
Yeah, that's fine.
Alright. Next we have Budokai and Hybrids. Oh, this is a match. I'm pretty sure we both predicted Budokai would not win this one.
Yeah, I'm apologizing to Havoc.
Yeah, as I have been told in the general chat. No fake.
Although I'm not going to lie, I think we were both vindicated by this match for the most part, because I don't know if you remember this match, but 90% of the match, Hybrids were winning, but like at the end there was a bit of tag shenanigans by what's it called, Supreme Kai and Go, and it finished. It ended up, yes, it was, yeah.
Everyone lives, everyone dies by our Lord and Savior tags.
Exactly. It was interesting. I think it's certainly because it was at the end. It was Team Gohan against the two of them, and I think that the tags really screwed with his momentum because he managed to get Goku down to like 10k, but then he immediately tagged, and then Supreme Kai stayed in, did 10k, and then tagged again. So it was like Teen had no chance. He was just being like thrown around. It was unfortunate.
Yes, and
but yeah, it was a good match. I enjoyed it. I think that early Piccolo looks a bit suspect, but otherwise, I think most of it.
Might be just reclothing him for late Piccolo. You never know.
that would certainly be interesting if they could get like.
Imagine if early Piccolo was benched for Namek's fight. Just to keep up the belief.
He's late Piccolo, really, all this time. Yeah.
I mean, hey, you never know.
You don't. You do not know. But yeah. Do you wanna where do you think? I'll ask the question this time. Where do you see Budokai finishing this season?
You know, jokes aside from the early late Piccolo thing, if they keep early Piccolo going as how he is, I think Budokai could end up quarter, I'd say semifinals at the most, just because they're like better teams that I think will go to finals. But hey, if they go to finals, they can prove me wrong.
100%. Though, I think that they might be. Now, I don't like saying this, but I think they might be in the bracket that either struggles to make playoffs, stroke they make playoffs, but like barely. But not to disrespect Budokai, but because of what I said most of this match, which was they got beat down fairly hard by hybrids, and they did do some tag shenanigans at the end between Enku and Supreme Kai to come back in. But I just think you can't always rely on that being a factor. So if at some point, this happens again against another team, maybe Boo Saga, maybe Rugrats, and they're beating them down, you can't always rely on the tag game to sort of save you. So I think that they'll probably make playoffs, but I think they might struggle. I think if they make playoffs, it'll be off the back of Supreme Kai and Goku. But yeah, hybrids
or early Ku. Early Ku is a good character.
Or early Ku, he is good. Yeah.
Or Adult Gohan.
Adult Gohan as an FA is pretty strong as well,
but hybrids. I think they are certainly a top contender if they can fix Kid Gohan.
He did one in this match. I think he did like, and I know it's against early Piccolo, but I think he did like 50 to 60k.
I know it's just he did well this match. They just need to keep him doing well because I know he's, at least whenever people think of hybrids, Kid Gohan's normally the one people pluck out of the other four as the weak link. Sometimes I think it's Future Gohan, sometimes I think it's Teen. Teen is primarily because of the goddamn defense negative he has in all his forms. Which is dumb, because Goten and Trunks don't have that, and they're kids. And Gohan literally fought Cell.
Ignore some of the things the game, the game values. Ignore them. They don't make sense.
I think they're certainly top contender, and I will say I think Semi is the highest I see for them, just because, while yes, they're strong. They have Ultimate, they have Future, they have Teen, and they have Sword working, and Kids working now and again. I just think that there are better teams that can counteract the burst damage of hybrids, because most of the time their burst damage either comes from Teen Gohan transforming or ulting in base in his Super Saiyan form. Or Trunks ulting.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I think semi-finals, possibly finals, because I know what you said there, but I look at this season, I look at last season. They got to semi-finals last season, and they were fairly unlucky. Or did they get to semi-finals? No, they got to quarters, didn't they? Yeah, it was quarters. But they were fairly unlucky to go out to Rugrats. They went out to Rugrats, but they were really strong last season. The record was 11-4, and I don't think they've changed all that much. They may have spruced up a few characters, I don't know. I'm not sure what they've done with Future Gohan, but they seem like they may have fixed his issues a little bit, and Kid Gohan definitely seems to have had an improvement. So I really do think they could make it to finals potentially. But yeah.
Alright. Well, with that said, we can move on to the Les Predictions.
Les Predictions.
Alright, first we have ED and Androids. We're gonna kind of go a little bit quick on this since it's only just the two of us. Let's see, ED and Androids. This is a tough one. Because it's preseason. Don't know who's coming in, don't know who's going out.
I'm gonna go with ED. because I think they've consistently been good.
I think I'm going to go with the safe bet that's also ED, just because the people they can bring in and take out are around similar power level, while for androids, it's kind of a little bit obvious that they're probably going to have Cell and 17. It's just the other three, like, who do you mix and match there? Or the other four, technically. So yeah, what is that, 2 to ED?
2 OED.
Next we have Sentai and Royals. I'm going to let you start this one off.
Right, I am going to go with Royals because they are probably as scary as Sentais with Jiren and everyone. They're probably going to have Deborah back in. They might have Majin Vegeta in, but Deborah, Metacooler, everyone else on Royals pretty much, besides Pilaf, is very good. So, yep,
Right.
Royals.
Throwing curveball, and I'm going to say Sentai here. Because I don't think they'll have Majin Vegeta in, because from what I've learned from Royals, they don't like innate DA users. Especially ones with burst damage. And guess who has that?
Jiren.
And while yes, they might have Deborah in. If Sentai have Birder in, Birder can really shut down Deborah and not let him charge. Because he's been really good against spam characters, and he's decent against melee users, which Deborah and I think Baby Vegeta have kind of been.
Okay, that's 1-1 then. Sentai.
No
Royals.
one here to break the tie.
No tiebreakers. Okay.
Alright, next with Kaiju and Derp.
I'm gonna have to go with. I'm gonna go with Derp.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
It is. It very much is.
I think since this Kaiju's home map, if they go big boy, I think it will be harder for Derp because a lot of their stuff are more reliant on like rushes, and I'm pretty sure Present Bomb does not affect an ape.
No, I don't think it does.
But if they don't, Derp definitely do have a shot, because Ginyu literally almost went elite against a decent team as well. Hercule, we all know Hercule, and like they still have Salza and Doria, and like their other members are also decent. It's just if Kaiju go big boy, then Derp's gonna have a lot of problems because
I think if they lean into, I know it sounds crazy, but if they lean into like Doria and Hercule and having some spam and quick damage, I think they'll be able to do it to try and burst Kaiju before they can transform. But I think that Derp, I'm going with Derp.
Alright. Next we have Muscle and Cold. I'll take this one off. I actually think this is going to be one of the closer ones of the week.
You could be right.
But I want to hear what you have.
I am going to be biased and say Cold. Obviously, Obviously, yeah. I mean, if I was being unbiased, then it's 50-50 really. But I think that, like, Muscle are obviously a very strong team, and they're probably going to bring 13 in, which is scary in and of itself. But I'm also hoping that Muscle, gives us a taste of King Cold. I think they might do that, and if they do that, I feel like he won't. I don't know. I just don't think he'll do well against spammy characters because I know what King Cold is like. So if he goes against Cooler, who is going to almost definitely be in, I think he's in trouble. If he goes against Tao, I think he's in trouble because Tao's almost definitely going to be in. And yeah.
You're saying you know what King Cold is like. He's King Muscle now.
Ah, yes. Well, they're pretty much running him on the same build, except he's on Demonic Bargain instead of EL, so...
that means he has an extra point.
He has an extra point. I think they put, like, No, they put Quick Fast on him or something. He's pretty much on the same build. So I know his weakness. He's on the same AI.
Wow. Did you want to shed more light about who's going to be in? Because remember, this comes out on Friday.
Yeah. Okay. So I can't guarantee like who's in yet because this is Sunday. But my thoughts of who's going to be in is Cooler is going to be in, Tower's going to be in, 100% Freezer will be in, and then one of Mecha or Zarbon. Probably Mecha.
No Jace.
Yes. That's the plan of it.
Well, with that, man, it's a tough one because honestly, I'm probably going to go with Cold because, albeit, yeah, Muscle has 13. Muscle maybe have 13 coming in, and they probably will still have Bojack. It's just, I think they're too much of. Okay, they're trying to figure out Grandpa Gohan. They're trying to make sure the Trunks form works because they can't switch out of the Trunks form. Because he's locked to that form. It's just if they want to ring him or not, so it de-transforms. And if they want to bring if they bring King Cold, well, yes, he can be a good character. My bargain against a bursty heavy team, which can be a risk. I think Muscle has too many risky and unlikely variables to win, but we have seen Muscle go with worse.
Yep. Last season, for example, and they made it to the bowl and won. So yeah,
where they literally could not have Bojack on EL because they had 2 heal transformations.
Yep. And they still made it work, so...
Alright. So that's 2-0 Cold? Alright.
Be a close match now. Oh, the next one's a doozy.
Yep. Next, we have Cinema and GT. I can tell you who we're bringing in, because we already have that figured out.
Let's hear it. Let's go.
Alright, so Garlic Jr. and Turles are going to be out this week. We are starting Janemba, and we are going with the lineup of Janemba, Gogeta, Raditz, and Fasha in that order.
Interesting. So Gogeta is back, the Gogeta man. Okay. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to take your prediction first?
I mean, I'm honestly going to go with my team, so.
Well, okay, you're going with your team. I am also going to go with your team because I think that's a very strong lineup. 3 of probably your best, Janemba, Gogeta, and Pasha. So I very much see it going to you guys. Hopefully GT can bring some good stuff though. Obviously I know that they're doing a bit of testing with Jiro and Gramps, so I feel like that could push it even more to your favour, so yeah.
Alright. That's 2-0 Cinema. Next we have Boo Saga and Namek.
I'm gonna go Boo Saga. I just think they're just as devastating as Namek were against you. I think the week prior Namek were not that good, whereas Boo Saga, every week that I've seen them, and in tested, they've been so consistently good.
It can't happen twice in a row, right? Can't happen twice in a row.
You can't repeat it. Pycon can't go and do it again. No, I think Boo Saga win. That's what I go with.
Oh yeah, I think Boo Saga have a pretty good shot. It's just I don't know how complete their team is. Because we haven't seen much of Vegito. I haven't watched any of the Boo Saga tests. And after they got Vegito. But also, like, Fat Boo is still a unknown factor, at least to me.
So, I think he's been decent in testing from what I've seen. Fat Boo, particularly. Vegeta, I don't know, but Fat Boo has been good.
Now, I think if Boo Saga can get rid of the heavy hitters of Late Piccolo and Nova, if they're both in for this match, because again, it's preseason, we have no idea who's coming in. We have no idea who's coming out, other than our own characters that are on our team. So, yeah. So, don't call us any of ye little faith. We are just going with our knowledge.
We're just going completely random into this because there's no build schedule or bench schedule, sorry. So we don't know who's probably going to be benched or anything. So we have no idea.
And we have no idea who's going to be on the FA bench either. So we don't know who's guaranteed out.
We also don't know if people will just throw test builds because it's pre-season. So it's all random. So.
But anyway, so I'm going to go with Namek just because I think their team is more complete. And they can literally just throw in Late Piccolo with PyCon and Nova, and that's a pretty solid core. And when I mean pretty solid, I mean that's pretty brick wall solid.
No one's getting through it. Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
People can get through it. It's just going to take a lot.
You just need a driller. And maybe a bulldozer.
So that's 1-1. Alright, next we have Hybrids and Rugrats. And I don't know about this one. So I'm going to need some time to think. Go ahead.
It's a rematch of the century. Last season's, what was it, Westkai? Quarterfinal. I think it might go the other way around this time, as in two hybrids, because I know that Rugrats, they like to test Gotenks and stuff during pre-season. While he did do fairly decently last match, I just think that hybrids will have the burst to sort of deal with Gotenks and his derpy moments, especially if, and we didn't mention this at the time because I forgot, but Gotenks did 2 Ghost Kamikaze attacks in their last match. So if he does any of those shenanigans again, I feel like a Super Kamehameha ult, or any ult from Trunks or any of them are waiting in his future to just respond to him. Because it does kind of like put you in an animation where you can't get out of for a little bit. So I am going to say hybrids, but it'll be a closely fought match, I am sure.
Yeah, I also think it's going to be closely fought, and I'm going to have to say hybrids as well for really the exact same reason. Hybrids just have the burst to deal with a potential Gotenks fusion, and I think they have more burst than Aurelie can put out, at least just by herself.
Yeah.
And as we have seen last season, that heavy burst can really help with the Gotenks fusion, because either you might burst one of their fusees so they don't fuse, or you might burst it so they don't have enough health to where it's like, okay, you're basically fighting a 8 health bar character or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's 2-0 for hybrids.
2-0 for hybrids.
Both think it's going to be a very close match.
Exactly, it will be.
Next we have RW and Budokai.
Okay, contrary to what I kind of said earlier, I guess, because I didn't really rate Budokai's chances too highly, I'm going to go with Budokai, because again, they're probably going to have Adult Gohan, who is probably the scariest FA, in fact, almost definitely the scariest FA around. Oh, well, there is that too, but I'm just looking at last season as well, and God, Adult Gohan is just ridiculous. Yeah, so Adult Gohan will probably be in. I imagine that they might keep Super Saiyan 2 and Goku in, but even if they don't, Supreme Kai himself is pretty strong. And I don't know, I just look at RW and I'm still not sure if the team balance is going to be right, because I just look at all of them historically as spammers. So, yeah,
Okay.
that's it. That's my vote, Budokai.
I would say Budokai, but I think, not to knock Budokai, great team, fantastic lineup. I just think RW with, I just think RW, they may all traditionally be spammers, but we have seen Yamcha work on melee. We have seen Ader work on defense. I almost said Birder for a second.
He wishes he was better. He wishes he was that fast.
But my main thing is there's Tapion, which Budokai can struggle with because they don't allow Engoku to go Super Saiyan 3, so he doesn't have the one-hit innate DA, nor his ult that can go through a giant. And, well, yes, it's kind of a hindrance to, it's kind of not a hindrance to adult Gohan, because literally everything he does can hit. Every B2 he does can hit an 8 really well. It's more of a hindrance to, say, early Goku, Videl, and early Piccolo, and kind of Supreme Kai, who are more reliant on their rushes, their grabs, or their, or just their melee combos in general, and none of them are innate DA users.
Yep.
So, the Tapion by himself can really screw up Budokai just with the Hurugan transformation and with his own spam.
Yeah.
But Majub also exists. And I know you primarily see him as a spammer. I primarily see him as an all-rounder who has just been more priority to spam, because are you going to ignore his barrage and chocolate beam that do so much on Super?
Oh no, his melee is pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, it's just historically I've seen him more of a defense spammer, but his melee is insane.
Yeah, like,
so
I think, yeah, 2 members of RW can be easy to overcome. It's just that Majub and Tapion wall is just, it's really hard to knock out if you're not prepared for it. And even then, people who are prepared for it might not always be prepared for a 10k B2 from Majub.
Yeah, they're scary. Yeah. I can agree. Yeah.
So with that, we end off on a 1-1. We end off on a tie. But with that, we have come to the end of the Capsule Cast. We like to thank you all for watching. Check out the links to the Discord, the website, the Twitter, and our TikTok in the description below. Comments for improvements we can do better on the cast. Any comments are appreciated. We always look at them. We might not always reply, but trust us, we always look. We always take your feedback into consideration.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to and hey, if you join the Discord, you can always join one of our teams. We're both coaches. You know, you can always like join stuff, maybe like the stats team, like the testing, even though that's about to end soon. So you can always watch the league first before you decide, hey, I want to try to test for this league. And
we need modders all the time. Modders.
or maybe if a position ever opens, you can try out for commentary. Who knows? But with that, I have been your host, Destiny, and this has been my co-host,
Xmat, and goodbye to all of you guys. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week.
And yeah, have a good one, or like Goku says, take care.
Goodbye.